Hello, Happy New Year, and welcome to Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Church in Pasadena. Welcome to all members, friends, and guests. Neighborhood Church creates and grows an inclusive community of faith connected by love, spirit, and service. My name is Taylor Chazen, and I am a member of your Board of Trustees. Today's service is led by our ministerial intern, Angeline Jackson Whitaker, live from Jamaica. After today's service, please stay signed in for an online coffee hour hosted by Reverend Teresa. There are many ways to connect with our church community throughout the week. Whether you're new or ready to find new ways to engage, please visit our website and social media to learn more. The Board of Trustees is very grateful to everyone who participated in board office hours in December. Watch this week's newsletter for additional dates in the coming weeks. We have all been watching the Omicron surge with concern. Given the level of contagion, the COVID committee, neighborhood staff, and Reverend Teresa have agreed to suspend in-person worship and gatherings. On January 9th, 16th, and 23rd, we will hold one YouTube service at 11:30, which will be streamed from the sanctuary. Hopefully this will be a brief suspension, and we will reevaluate in the next 2 weeks. There will be further notifications to other groups about their gatherings. Families, please watch the RE newsletter for more information about virtual family programming. We appreciate your support and flexibility as we continue to navigate these ever-changing times. Neighborhood Church upholds a covenant of right relations through which we commit to act so that the needs of the individual and the greater faith community can be in harmony. We covenant to honor one another, engage one another, and give to one another and our institution. Again, welcome to Neighborhood Church, whoever you are, and wherever you are in your spiritual journey. Welcome to this inclusive faith community connected by love, spirit, and service.
Hi, I'm Jane, and our chalice lighting words are by Lisa Day. For the new year, just days old, beginning today, always beginning. We light our chalice, symbol of faith, perseverance, and hope, in astonished thanksgiving and irrepressible praise. For beginnings that emerge out of endings, appear amidst continuity, become visible in hindsight. We light our chalice, symbol of faith, perseverance, and hope, in astonished thanksgiving and irrepressible praise. For all the times and all the ways we have begun anew together. We light our chalice, symbol of faith, perseverance, and hope, in astonished thanksgiving and irrepressible praise.
Sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring the song of love and rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and rose in the winter time.
Hi, I'm Matt Basco, Neighborhood's Director of Religious Education, and it is my pleasure to bring a fun book to you today, a meaningful book, I think, too. This one is called The Great Realization, and it's a book of hope, and hopefully it's very inspiring. And I think there's something to be found here for people of all ages. So I hope everybody's really going to enjoy it. I'm just going to share my screen here real quick. You should be seeing the cover now. Based on the inspiring online poem, The Great Realization by Thomas Roberts, as told by Tom Foolery, with art by Namoko. I like this book because there's a lot of imagination in it. It's sort of imagining a future for us. Tell me the one about the virus again, then I'll go to bed. But my boy, you're growing weary, sleepy thoughts about your head. Please, that's my favorite. I promise, just once more. Take me back to 2020. That's all I'm asking for. Okay, snuggle down, my boy. Though I know you know full well the story starts before then, in a world I once would dwell. It was a world of waste and wonder, of poverty and plenty, back before we understood why hindsight's 2020. You see, the people came up with companies to trade across the land, but they swelled and got much bigger than we ever could have planned. We'd always had our wants, but now it got so quick. You could have anything you dreamed of in a day with just one click. We noticed families had stopped talking. That's not to say they never spoke, but the meaning must have melted and the work-life balance broke. And the children's eyes grew squarer, and every toddler had a phone. They filtered out the imperfections, but amidst the noise, they felt alone. Every day the skies grew thicker till you couldn't see the stars. So we flew in planes to find them, while down below we filled our cars. We'd drive around all day in circles. We'd forgotten how to run. We swapped the grass for tarmac, shrunk the parks till there were none. We filled the sea with plastic, because our waste was never capped, until each day when you went fishing, you'd pull them out already wrapped. And while we drank and smoked and gambled, our leaders taught us why it's best not to upset the lobbies, more convenient to die. Oh my. But then in 2020, a new virus came our way. The governments reacted, told us to hide away. But while we all were hidden amidst the fear, and all the while, we dusted off our instincts. We remembered how to smile. We started clapping to say thank you and calling our moms. And while our car keys gathered dust, we would look forward to our runs. And with the skies left full of voyagers, the earth began to breathe, and the beaches bore new wildlife that scuttled off into the seas. Some people started dancing, some were singing, some were baking. We'd grown so used to bad news, but there was good news in the making. Old habits became extinct, and they made way for the new. And every simple act of kindness was now given its due. And so we found the cure and were allowed to go outside. We all preferred the world we found to the one we'd left behind. But why did it take a virus to bring the people back together? Well, sometimes you get sick, my boy, before you start feeling better. So lie down and dream of tomorrow and all the things that we can do. And who knows, if you dream hard enough, maybe some of them will come true. We now call it the Great Realization. And yes, since then there have been many, but that's the story of how it started and why hindsight's 2020. The end. And that's why hindsight's 2020. We have 2020 in the rear view, but we're still coping with the virus. But hopefully We've all found ways to cope that help make us happy, help make us have some feelings of well-being. What I really like about this story is that it shares a belief we have as Unitarian Universalists. We don't believe revelation is sealed. We believe we can always be learning. We can always be having new realizations about how to do better and be better to one another and create a more beloved community. So thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the great realization, and take care.
Thank you, Matt, and Happy New Year, neighborhood. My name is Elizabeth Sadlon. I'm on your board of trustees, and it's wonderful to be together today. Each Sunday, our congregation expands our impact by dedicating 100% of contributions to local social justice efforts. This week, our Share the Plate committee is chosen for our gifts to fund Neighborhood Church's own social justice and inclusion, outreach, and education work. We invite you to give to our internal projects that engage in mindful advocacy and action in tune with the earth and all of its inhabitants, because we believe in creating a more equitable, just, and peaceful world. 20 years ago, Trace and I were drawn to Neighborhood as a values-based community for our family. The church's commitment to social justice provides continuous opportunities for us to put our UU principles in action, whether providing meals with Union Station Homeless Services, home and community building with Esperanza, activism, letter writing, and phone banking for marriage equality or voting rights, anti-racism learning, and many others. Your own social justice activities with Neighborhood may be different, but what connects them all is our shared spiritual dedication and our financial commitment to support this important work internally as well as in the world. Thank you for giving generously through our website or text to give. I look forward to working together in 2022 toward justice.
Faith is a forest in which doubts wait and hide. Insight to hear the still small voice deep inside. Web of life, may this thread I weave. Strength and commitment to all I believe. Vision be my guide as I seek my way. Lead me into this tender day. Speak through me in all I do and say. Seeds of both meek and strong are scattered in air. Dignity shines and in my bigotry's glare. Web of life, may this thread I weave. Help me bear witness to all I believe. Justice be my guide as I seek my way. Lead me into this tender day. Speak through me in all I do and say. Fortune and famine ride the swift winds of chance. Sorrow and pleasure seem united in dance. Web of life, may this thread I weave. Mingle compassion with all I believe. Mercy be my guide as I seek my way. Lead me into this tender day. Speak through me in all I do
Good morning, everyone. It's so wonderful to be able to be together even in this virtual way. And I'm really thrilled that we can experience worship with Angeline from such a distance. And so glad to have her leading us in worship today. I'd like us to gather in the spirit of prayer, of meditation, as I share this wonderful new poem by Amanda Gorman, New Days Lyric. May this be the day we come together. Mourning, we come to mend. Withered, we come to weather. Torn, we come to tend. Battered, we come to better. Tethered by this year of yearning, we are learning that though we weren't ready for this, we have been readied by it. Steadily, we vow that no matter how we are weighed down, we must always pave a path forward. This hope is our door, our portal. Even if we never get back to normal, someday we can venture beyond it, to leave the known and take the first steps. So let us not return to what was normal, but reach toward what is next. What was cursed, we will cure. What was plagued, we will prove pure. Where we tend to argue, we will try to agree. Those fortunes we forswore, now the future we foresee. Where we weren't aware, we are now awake. Those moments we missed are now these moments we make. The moments we meet, and our hearts all once all together beaten, now all together beat. Come, look up with kindness yet, for even solace can be sourced from sorrow. We remember not just for the sake of yesterday, but to take on tomorrow. We heed this old spirit in a new day's lyric. In our hearts, we hear it. For Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne, be bold, sang time this year. Be bold, sang time. For when you honor yesterday, tomorrow ye will find. Know what we've fought need not be forgot, nor for none. It defines us, binds us as one. Come over, join this day just begun, for wherever we come together, we will forever overcome. Amen. And in this spirit of remembrance, let us put in the chat, if you choose, those whom are most on your minds and hearts today, those whom you may have lost, those whom you may be celebrating with, those whom perhaps are in sorrow. So let us share in the chat those who are on our hearts.
Okay, there we go. Good morning, everyone. Our reading this morning is from Spilling the Light, Meditations on Hope and Resilience by Reverend Teresa Soto. And it's called A Simple Hope. Last year, the It toy was some kind of beeping computerized egg. The frenzy and the desperation reaching for the perfect gift sold out everywhere, this egg. Hope can be kind of like that. People strain and struggle for the perfect definition. Is it now or future perfect, as in we will have survived? They argue over whether we even need a hope more present than a maybe, even when you don't feel it. A healthy hope is the power, and beyond that, the choosing to stay. Stay with the doubt and fear. Stay with the work that it takes to resist. Leave giving up for another day. You could wrestle the words or sensations of hope to the mat. Or you could let this moment be enough. Belonging here together be sufficient. Feast on our irrepressible power to stay.
I forgot to unmute the mic. We're good. Good morning and Happy New Year. This new year may be a repeat of some aspects of 2021 and 2020, but it is still another year, another go around to dream, hope, and act. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Stop. It's been a hard and disappointing 2 years. Disrupted plans and deferred dreams. Saying final goodbyes to friends, loved ones, and acquaintances we have not said hello to in a long, long time. We hoped that things would have been different. I don't know about you, but I feel like my hope tank is empty. And it is only by faith and the fumes of hope that I am able to keep moving forward. Of course, I can refill my tank, and I will. But when I do that, what will it mean? Does it mean I'll always be optimistic, chirpy, and ready to take on the world? Does it mean I'll give the brightest eye smile, the ones you do because you have on the face mask and it's still part of essential wear? What does it mean to refill with hope? Or probably I should start off defining and exploring hope. I think hope means hanging on to the changes that occur around us with the anticipation that at some point, and at least for a while, things will settle down and we can find a sense of stability to make the decisions that best serve us. In A Feminine Ethic of Risk, Sharon Welch puts it this way: hope doesn't deny the complexity of our lives or the difficulty of the choices we make. Instead, it is a dance between the messiness of life and the connectedness of life that produces something grand and glorious. I might be asking a silly question, but what is messy and complicated in your life right now? Do you face a difficult decision in a situation that seems to have a no-win outcome? How will you face this difficulty? Do you find yourself stuck between choices of a push-pull, tug-of-war nature? I bet it's messy and painful. Yet, if we could find a way to make the pieces dance together, like the lead and follow of a waltz or a tango, we might get that beautiful, grand, and glorious result Welch talks about. When I think of complex, easily I think of this ongoing pandemic. The times when it feels as though we have taken 5 steps forward, such as the availability of vaccines, only to take 3 steps back from issues like the Omicron variant. The push for all things to look and feel like pre COVID, and the pull of opportunities that our present reality hints at. Our church, like many other churches, while hoping and planning for a return to normalcy, also took steps to innovate and adapt to the technology that made connections in the distance possible. We have given members who moved away opportunities to tune into our services and events despite the distance. Today, we're having an opportunity for members from my ministry, Communities of Restoration, to be present in our service. And you have given me a chance to be an intern from Jamaica, 2,700 miles and some time zone differences. Because of the technology, we now broadcast our services. And because we broadcast our services, we record our services. And because we do that, we have the potential to repurpose them and extend or reach beyond the 4 walls of our building on a Sunday morning. These, in my mind, were hope-filled actions. A hope-filled action is an active hope. We are putting action to our wishes and plans. Action, not a bag of mouth, as the song says. Paraphrasing Chris Johnstone and Joanna Macy, they say, active hope involves playing a direct role in bringing about the things we hope for. We do not wait for the conditions to be right, perfect, favorable. Instead, we identify the goal, the dream, the hope, and then we take the best actions that will get us there. Hope, active hope, is intentional. Even if it's just the fumes of hope, it is a space where decisions are made and actions are taken. Hope can set us up for joyous moments. Over the past few weeks, I have invited your participation in crafting today's sermon. I got a few responses. However, if you missed the newsletter or did not get around to sharing your responses, here is one more chance. We're going to pause twice during this message to reflect on 2 questions. I invite you to participate either by using the technology or Zoom chat or writing your responses in a nearby notebook or notepad. In the year that has been, it might be hard to immediately think of something you would call the highlight of your year. But I would like to think that something, no matter how small, exists. I had a lot of sorrow this past year, and in the last 2 months of the year, I lost 4 or 5 people. And at other times, and even during that time, I felt as if I could not find up from down. Yet one of my most joyful moments, simple moment, was sitting at my desk and hearing birds right outside my window. In other instances, your highlight might not necessarily be joyous. Maybe it was highly intentional, maybe even a lot or a little scary. One of the persons who responded before today shared how responding to the questions helped her recognize that there were indeed some good things that happened in the past year. So with that, I would like to invite you into a potentially messy but beautiful dance. As I mentioned before, we are going to use a bit of technology. In the chat, you will find a link to a website called Mentimeter that will have the following questions. What was your highest or most joyful moment of 2021? Was it intentional? After you have answered, you can return to this Zoom screen as we will have the results page up. You can also share your responses here in the chat if you would prefer.
Bright morning stars are rising, bright morning stars are rising, bright morning stars are rising, day is breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? of gladness. They are sowing seeds of gladness. They are sowing seeds of gladness. Days are breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear fathers? Oh, where are our dear fathers? Oh, where are our dear fathers? Days are breaking in my soul. They are in the fields of plowing. They are in the fields of plowing. They are in the fields of plowing. Days are breaking in my soul.
Thank you for engaging this dance and for sharing. Writing my first book, visit from my dad, publishing my memoir and sharing it with the church, a visit from my mother, having Angeline join us, starting new families or expanding existing ones, being able to hug others, moving across the country, getting vaccinated, sharing music, seeing the MFC. I have not read out all the responses, but what do you hear and see in these answers? What strikes me is that each response, though containing potential for risk, was filled with hope. Hope you acted on, and you did so not knowing exactly what the results would be, even though you expected a particular result. And I call that faith. Hebrews 11 verse 1 says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This passage from Hebrews is a Bible passage I learned as a child and which has never left my memory. It helps me articulate my understanding of faith as that which I can neither see, touch, nor hear. Yet it is a powerful force that pushes me forward. It complements my hope. By faith, I choose to believe that no matter how crappy the year has been, something will happen, even once, no matter how small, that will bring me joy. Faith is that intangible thing that fuels my hope. And with faith, I look forward to the year ahead. I do not know what is in store, how many more lockdowns or spiraling COVID cases, who next will die or who will give birth unexpectedly. But I know what I hope to see. And even though I have no certainty that what I hope for will be what happens, I can still make my plans and stack my deck. How about you? Do hope and faith help you plan for what lies ahead? How are you stacking your 2022 deck? What would you like to see on the agenda for your 2022? I invite you to join me once more in this exercise, this dance. In the chat, you will again find the link to the website and the question, what one thing do you want to get done in 2022? Please share your responses.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dusk and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
Keep writing, spending more time outside hiking in our beautiful mountains. Continue my intense inner work, both spiritual and I lost that one. Contribute to positive change in the world. More creativity, intentional celebrations, family expansions like getting a dog, decluttering like making my house a home, embarking on greater health consciousness, conversation, and establishing legacies, holding spaces for the healing and forward movement of our church community. What do you see and feel when you read and hear these responses? What I see and hear is that these are plans, dreams set in the uncertainty of life, yet hopeful for what can be. These hopes are also actionable. You are not waiting around for things to be better or different. You are putting the plans in place and taking steps to get there. You are acting on faith. Hope grounded in the divine. Hope in our potential. Hope because we are stubborn enough to believe in hope. Wherever our hope has its roots, we find in it the ability to face life, face uncertainties, and overcome doubt. Hope gives us a kind of armor to take actions even when they are risky. Sharing the words of Emily Towns, Sharon Welch continues, when we truly believe in this hope, it will order and shape our lives in ways that are not yet predictable, not always safe, rarely conventional. With hope, we do not give up, for we answer life with life. Yeah, it is another year, 2022. Another chance for us to answer life with life. Another chance to dream, hope, and act. For hope, as the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu says, is being able to see that there is light despite all the darkness. Amen.
Life that maketh all things new, the blooming earth, our thoughts within, our pilgrim feet were with thy dew, in gladness hither turn again. From hand to hand the greeting flows, from eye to eye the signals run, from heart to heart the bright hope glows. The seekers of the light are one in the freedom of the truth, one in the joy of paths untrod, one in the soul's perennial youth, one in the larger thought of God. A freer step, a fuller breath, a wide horizon's grander view, the sense of life that knows no death, the life that maketh all things new.
For benediction, I want to offer a poem, again from Still in the Light, Meditations on Hope and Resilience by Reverend Teresa Soto. A charm for hope, a string. This is a charm for hope. The first thing to do is tie a string around your finger. Remember that you are not alone. Think of the ways that our best shared futures are braided inextricably with our own present, with your own present and your destiny. The second thing is to untie the string and let the knots and tightness fall away. Let the burden of bleakness roll off your sore shoulders. Resistance on these opaque horizons only requires one source of strength, one ray of light. Remember that persistence doesn't require all the answers up front, only one. Fortunately for all of us, we have one response: to remain together through awkward times and happy ones. We remember and we find our resolve in one another. Thank you, friends, for joining us today. Happy New Year, and make the most, find the joyful and joyous moments of 2022.